Hello, listener. My name is Dr. Thais Speaks. I'm your life strategist and the Common Sensei. This is the Common Sensei Show. My topic with this podcast is something that we all have experienced more times than we'd like to count in our lives. And it's a very serious issue. This is about the stank restroom. Yes, I do mean stank. Allow me to give you a small lesson before I dive in. Stank is a term that is far worse than its originator, stink, at least when you're referring to a smell, as in saying the phrase, "There's a bad odor coming from your mouth." Alternatively, you'd say, "Your breath stinks." However, if the bad odor smells far worse than what someone's breath should smell like, perhaps to the point where it's just inhumane, then the word stink would not be appropriate. You must accelerate the word to stank. So in a sentence, you'd say, "Your breath stank." Also, do not add the S at the end of stank as you would stinks. Okay, that's enough street survival talk. So let me move on to the purpose of this podcast. Have you ever walked into a public restroom where as soon as you opened the door, there was an odor so foul that it seemed as though it flew up both your nostrils and singed all of your nose hairs? The purpose of your nose hairs is to protect your brain from foreign objects. But this foul obstruction has made its way through. And now you can hear your brain cells popping in death one by one. I mean, the funk is so violating that clearly you are being disrespected. And those brain cells that you hear popping, those were the brain cells that held the key to your multi-million-dollar idea that was going to change the world. You quickly come to. Note the stall door that's closed and see the bottom of someone's legs. Then it happens. You witness through the only sense that has yet to be affected by their odor attack. Your sense of hearing picks up the all too familiar sound of the foul odor creation process. Just before you pass out, you ask yourself, "Can they smell this?" Let me stop this great story to tell you yes, they can. And as a matter of fact, they are being very disrespectful to the other people who need to use the restroom. So what can we do? Well, in short of telling them to flush the toilet, in a polite way, of course, or frantically banging on the door to see if there's indeed a rotting corpse in the stall, or perhaps coughing like you've lost your mind while saying, "The smell, I can't take it," with hopes that they get the message to flush, there is not much you can do. But after listening to the Common Sensei podcast, you will not be disrespectful like the one who chose to sit in their funk. This is a serious issue that many people don't even think about. But no fear, that's why I'm here, to help improve lives one podcast at a time. Before I get started, I will tell you that this podcast is sponsored by, well, insert your company name here and send me a check. Or if you're electronically savvy, you can PayPal me at Dr. Thais. Then I can tell all my listeners your name on this show, and sponsored by my Facebook page. Go visit me at facebook.com/Dr. Thais Speaks and make sure you like my page and do that little extra step of getting my notifications too. Facebook irks me sometimes, you know? Okay, so let's pretend that you are the person sitting on the toilet or squatting. That's my public toilet practice, but I'll talk about that in another podcast. and you let a bomb out from the pits of your bowels. It hits the water. During its journey, it released a very unpleasant odor-filled gas. The foul odor runs past your nose and seemingly dissipates. Well, guess what? It really didn't. It just kept moving. It slowly loses strength, but it keeps moving. I'm sure it keeps moving around until it can find someone else's nose to offend. Ugh. To not be offensive, there is a method you can implement that is called the courtesy flush method. Look it up. There are at least 2 reasons you would want to use the courtesy flush method. One is to flush your unique, one-of-a-kind creation down the water pipes as soon as it drops. So it's not just sitting in the bowl, smelling up the place, killing the breathable atmosphere. And the other reason you would want to implement the courtesy flush method is for use with toilets that have slow to low flushing power, where it's always problematic to flush your creation and the toilet tissue down at the same time. Well, when you implement the courtesy flush method, you are taking other people's smelling sense into consideration, and you're being a kind human being. Think about how many lives you are saving. How many people get to continue to grow healthy nose hairs? And you are preventing early brain cell death. Many people will now be able to walk into public restrooms with their brain cells forming that multi-million-dollar idea, and it will still be intact. You, my friend, are a hero or shiro, and you don't even know it yet. This show is a contribution to life. If you know someone who would like to learn about breakthrough strategies on how to live a better life, apply business sense to everyday living, and increase their common sense to make it common again, use 7 seconds right now to help spread the word on your social media sites. Find the share button, email it, just spread the message and tell your friends. This show is titled The Stank-Doing #2 in Public Restrooms. You know what else? I would really appreciate a positive review from you on iTunes or whatever platform you're listening to the Common Sensei show on. True Funky Experience by Thais Wilson and Music Bed Magic by Keith Griffin of Ashy Breeze Music. Enjoy your journey in life. Live, love, and laugh. I'm Dr. Thais Speaks, and you can find me online at drthais.com. That's drthais.com. Thank you for listening and caring enough to share.
Hello, is anybody there? Can you hand me some toilet tissue, please? Anybody in the next stall? I need toilet tissue. Please?
Toilet. 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 Why does my mouth feel juicy? Why does it feel like there's like juice stored up in my cheeks? Juicy cheeks. Listen to this. Plop and flush. Plop and flush. Plop and flush. That's what I teach my children. Plop and flush. Plop and flush.